Okay, so I've written it up in docs and presentations and KnowledgeNet and other things, but actually I found that I was double handling, and I prefer to be reflective with a pencil and piece of paper and annotate things because it really makes me think. So if I'm reading books and things, I like to scribble in the margins, so that's the way that I learn. And I'm quite happy to put it in a presentation mode for the end of the year or for something specific. So my crisis, my little lovelies. I did start off with 5 children at the beginning of the year, and the focus was on their literacy, but 2 of them were brand newies to school and they just flew, so I didn't need to focus on those little lovelies. So the 3 children that I focused on are Hunter, Santiago and Nathan, and I just want to tell you a little bit about them, and they each have specific needs. All came into school pre-readers and pre-writers. Hunter has significant emotional issues and things happening in the background, so therefore a lot of the time he's completely emotionally flooded, and so it's about creating a relaxed environment in which he can operate and function and take part in the hub, to even access learning. Nathan, again, he was highly anxious, very stressed little boy for the first term. He didn't speak unless you had one-to-one scaffolding, therefore no RC or anything else, and very difficult to get a baseline and benchmarking for the beginning. So Hunter came in with 1 letter name, 0 high-frequency words, 0 sounds, and pre-reader. Nathan came in with 5 letter names, all from his name, and 0 high frequency, 0 letter sounds, and a pre-reader. And Santiago, 2 letter names, the S and the T, and 0 high frequency, 0 letter sounds, and pre-reader. So that's our starting data. And you sort of get a feeling within the first 2 weeks of school, to 6 weeks of school, of how they're going to go, and these children were identified really at the end of last year, and Charlotte wanted to take the older ones from last year to focus on with her ALL group and ESOL, and I wanted to take some of the younger ones who started in the late 3rd term, beginning of the 4th term. I've worked really, really hard with building a relationship with parents. It's very, very difficult to actually have those conversations when their child has first started school, or they're their eldest child, or other things that their child is not as successful as they think that they might be, or as they're perceived to be. So there's been a lot of building with parents of that relationship, which has been absolutely key. Just speaking each day to Dad with Hunter and catching up and just making that informal contact and getting Hunter to realise that we've got this system in place, and we're both talking and we're both reflecting and helping you with your reading and writing and those sorts of links between schools, so he felt comfortable too. For Nathan, Mum was extremely anxious, eldest child out of 3. Highly anxious and highly stressed about Nathan starting school, took over a term to build that relationship, but now really trusting and supportive. And she's really, both of these sets of parents came to our reading workshops that we ran, and we'll talk about that later. Santiago came to school with minimal English, and he came a bit later than the other 2 boys, so therefore building relationship with Dad, just being really proactive, just doing lots of little connects, informal. And the best feedback was last week, I was like, oh, Dad's coming, bangs on the door while I'm talking to another parent, and then waits, and then he comes in and he says, oh, it's really great to see Santiago reading at red level, because it's all your hard work and you got a certificate, and then he wanted to say thank you very much, but you just never know what happens when they're banging on the door. So so that was really good. So what interventions did I do? Well, here's the list of interventions. Reading rocks, early words, buddy support, time to talk, targeted teacher aid support, brain profiling, timetable change that we did as a hub, and I videoed reflections and feedback and parent workshops. Just very quickly, Early Words programme is highly successful, has been highly successful for Nathan. I see him being taken off by the end of this term. Buddy programme with Ruby and Hope from Hub 3, who have been ones that have been a little bit reluctant at the beginning to in their own literacy experience, and that has really helped Nathan and Hunter and another child, so the needs are met, so it's sort of two birds with one stone. Time to Talk programme is Mel has run that, and that's helped with the oral language development. Changing the way and our emphasis on phonics has helped both Santiago and Nathan immensely. They've moved, the data shows that they've moved in terms of their progress. Brain profiling, I could just spend half an hour going through, and you really all need to meet this lady, Nolene, and she needs to come in and do a staff PD with us, because it really gave us more insight into how and why Hunter shuts down and Nathan shuts down and Santiago and things. So my next steps, where to next? Hunter, buddy reading and writing, continue the Early Words programme, which is run by a parent that I've trained. Specific targets, I want him to know these specific letter signs by the end of term 2, and I know the hook. He loves Lego and he enjoys kinesthetic and pictorial things. Nathan, he's going to be off Early Words by the end of term, connects with mum, checking in and just reinforcing. Now it's a writing focus with him, fine motor development as very poor cutting, pencil grip, etc. But he loves dancing and use this as a hook. Santiago, Early Words programme as soon as Nathan comes off. ESOL, vocab development, continue Time for Talk with Mel. Connects with parents, checking in, and Big Sister, using her. He loves music, singing, drawing, use that as a hook. There you go.